Hello, my name is Michael Kahn. I'm the author of The Untold Nature of Christianity, Angry, Loud, and Clear Truth, and Exposing the Money Machine. This is a video where I'm going to tell you where all evil comes from, the reason for our politicians doing what they're doing, and what's coming down now. I want you to pay close attention and be ready for a big revelation. There'll be some history, some knowledge about what's going on, some common sense, and you'll be enlightened as to why things are happening the way they are, that people do things that most people wouldn't do, like kill people for money or for pleasure like that. These are not human good traits that people do and are forced to do. I will show you how the methods used by the evil and why we are where we are today. Okay, let's start back in the history of civilization. The first real civilization that we know of was in Mesopotamia. The second civilization was in Egypt, that's highly advanced. They had a god by the name of Horus, who was supposedly the son of Isis and Osiris. And under Horus, the Egyptians built pyramids, they had embalming sciences, they had magic, they had all kinds of high technology and information, knowledge that we don't even have today, 3,000 or 4,000 years later. So how did they do it? I'm going to show how Freemasonry and belief in God is a ticket to high intelligence in a way. And you'll see how. I know it doesn't sound right, but you'll see how in a minute. Now, here goes. In Egypt, there's where Moses was a prince, according to the Bible. And Moses, a prince, it says he was the son of slavery, and he was put in a basket and all that. But he was an Egyptian prince. I believe that Moses was the first Hebrew. He started the Jewish religion, the Hebrew religion. As an Egyptian prince, he used allegory teachings, with the methods of teaching used by the Egyptian scholars back 4,000, 5,000 years ago, as found in the Kemet mystery schools. They used parables, allegories. Now, this is a way to deceive people into thinking that what you're saying is true and right, when you use a false story, a fictional story, to prove your point. And it make moral statements. But since the fictional story has no basis or foundation in truth, and it fools people. Now, Moses used all kinds of stories that are totally unbelievable. The Tower of Babel, the flood, the parting of the Red Sea, obviously a story of fables and totally fictional. Now, the Hebrews, who were originally black, they were not white. I'm an Ashkenazi Jew, born Ashkenazi Jew. I can't help that. I can just help who I am, not how I was born. And basically, we're not the original Hebrews. Original Hebrews were black. The Song of Solomon, in the first chapter, talks about the Hebrew woman who is, all scholars say she's basically representative of the Hebrew people, says she's dark from working in the fields. She's black. And ancient drawings and sculptures showed the people of Egypt had Negro features. So the Egyptians were dark-skinned, more dark-skinned than today. They were black people, and that's what the original Hebrews were. Even in Revelation, Jesus is described as having hair like wool and feet like bronze. That's certainly not a white person. Now Moses made up the Old Testament, at least the first 5 books. The rest goes on Hebrews. And the Hebrew people, the whole Old Testament is an evil book, about cult and bad teachings, wrong values. It repeatedly tells the Hebrews to kill whole nations, kill even women, children, and even animals. David, who's known as a man after God's own heart, one of the biggest heroes in the Bible, when he was escaping King Saul in Philistine land, he destroyed whole villages and pillaged them to make food and wealth for him and his soldiers. He also committed adultery, killed the woman he had adultery with, her husband. He did all kinds of evil. In the Old Testament, all kinds of evil is promoted. Slavery is promoted. The laws are unreal. How to tell if your wife had adultery, basically by killing her. The idea is terribly skewed. And then the New Testament, which was written, basically had bad values also. In 6 places in the New Testament says, slaves, obey your masters no matter how wicked they are. In Romans chapter 13, it says the governor is placed there by God to do good, honor and obey him. It says something similar in 1 Peter chapter 2. This is the New Testament. Basically saying that the governors is put in by God and they're good. Now we all see every politician is a crook. They're liars, they're power hungry, they're deceivers, they're bribery and greed and selfish. They're wrong in every way. No politician is any good past the mayors. And we see this, it is obvious. So a good God placed him in power. A good God tells you to be a good slave and to be a subservient, tells you to be a sheep. A good God tells you to love those who hate you, to return good for evil. And furthermore, the New Testament teaches mercy and grace. Mercy is not being punished for that you deserve to have punished for. And grace means getting undeserved favor. In other words, getting blessings you don't deserve. So what kind of religion teaches not to be punished for wrongdoing and get all kinds of things, good things that you don't deserve? I myself, I love justice. I deserve justice. I don't get it. I get persecution, prosecution. Okay, my life is not bad now. I've been incarcerated repeatedly for my writings and for lies said about me. You know, if I wish I had justice in my life, I don't want mercy, I want justice. But the Christian faith teaches mercy and grace, undeserved blessings. And who gets them? The rich. And who doesn't get punished? The rich. Now, I'm going to go into this further to show you where evil came from. This god Horus that ruled Egypt, now Old Testament is made out of, was basically the same entity we now call Satan. And the Hebrews had a rebellion against Rome in 70 AD. A Hebrew named Josephus, who was a Pharisee, and the Pharisees were the rulers and the pastors, rabbis of the Jews at that time. They were basically occupied by Rome and Israel, and the Hebrews who were in charge were the religious leaders, and above them were the Roman-placed governors, Herod, Pilate, and the like. Now, Josephus led the Hebrew rebellion against Rome in 70 AD when the temple was destroyed. And what did he do? And basically, he saw that as he was leading the Hebrews, he saw Rome had a sure victory. They had no chance. He switched over to the Roman side. He became a Roman aristocrat, got rich Romans, and he wrote a book called The Antiquity of the Jews. It is still available today, 2,000 years later. It is accurate and geographically and historically correct. Now, my theory is that Josephus concocted the New Testament. He was a Hebrew, knew the Old Testament inside out. He's a Pharisee. So he basically wrote a book promoting slavery, rule by the government's obedience. You basically return good for evil, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. When you're persecuted for righteousness, rejoice. These are not right teachings. They teach submissiveness and submission and a slave-like mentality to power. That's the Old Testament, basically, by worshiping God, you win wars, get wealth, and acquire slaves. In the New Testament, be a good slave. The teaching summed up simply saying that. Now, Josephus, being a Pharisee, knew his God was Horus, Jehovah. And yes, God is called Jehovah in the Old Testament. It means I am, Yahweh. But why did the character of God change from Judaism to Christianity, from a God of justice and punishment and power and wealth, to one that promote a slave and submissive mentality? Why would that be? Unless a Roman wanted to write it down to impose the slave and submissive mentality on the citizens to be easy to rule over. Now, the first writings, the first documents, codexes of the New Testament are carbon dated from 75 AD to 125 AD. Those are times that Paul lived and also Josephus lived. Paul never existed. Josephus wrote that New Testament. Nobody in his right mind would write a document of evil submission like the New Testament to deceive the people. Now also, you'll notice that not only does both the Old Testament and New Testament use parables, allegories, it also uses symbolism. Symbolism has been used in the Kemet mystery schools also. And basically a ticket, now we call it cocaine. I'm going to get into that another time. But basically it is lies and makes it link up with things and makes you confused. Once you start looking for symbolism and you get the idea and you learn symbolism, look for it in everything. And everything seems to have a symbolic message to it. It leads to great confusion. Why would they use it? Why does the Catholic Church use it so much? Now we know that the Old Testament and New Testament were put in there to control the people and make them submissive. And now we also know that the apostles never existed. Now, why would Jesus say, when asked, should we pay taxes, he said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and unto God what is God's? In other words, pay taxes and pay tithes, give money to the pastors. Why would he do that when he basically cleansed the temple twice, turned over the tables with a whip, seeing that they were full of money changers, making money for the for the rabbis, the pastors? And he also said in Matthew chapter 23, he called the Pharisees, the pastors, rabbis, he called them serpents, blind guides, serpents, blind guides, hypocrites, whitewashed tombs, eaten with worms, filthy and dirty. He said he called proselytizers evil. Said he said he would travel land and sea to make one convert, make him twice a child of hell. They were in Matthew chapter 23. So understand, Jesus hated the pastors and the leaders, both Roman and Hebrew, but he said pay taxes to them, give them money. And why would he say that unless the New Testament is written to impose a submissive and slave mentality to people, make it easy to rule over, and even have them pay the governing authorities and the pastors to deceive them and rule over them? Why else would they do? Who'd he do that? Unless it was written by a man who did this intentionally and deliberately for the Roman Empire, as he was already bought for the Hebrews, and he wanted to be bought for the Romans. He was a leader. That means he's corrupt. Now, there are some truisms in the New Testament. Money is the root of all kinds of evil. The love of money. You cannot love money and God if you really believe in the God they talk about. And Jesus clearly talked about hell. And basically, the Bible says that God created man in his own image. And he says he also created hell. And he says that man is sinful from birth and quick to, in Romans 3, that man's feet is quick to shed blood. They are non-righteous. His tongue is like an asp, serpent lies like an asp for every man. It says that about every man that he created in his own image. It says they deserve hell. The people he created in his own image deserve hell. That is God's so-called, as supposedly God talking about you and me. That our feet are quick to shed blood and we are liars. Most people do lie. I do not. Why would the Bible say that? Now, why would the Bible say that God loves you but thinks you deserve hell, and he does put billions of people in hell, and hell is very real. It's another realm, another reality. And I've experienced it in some of the tip of it in Trenton States, like at Chicago. I was in the hell realm, in insanity. I was brought out with mental torture. They placed me into it to teach me things, then brought me out again through mental torture. Now, by the way, I studied Bible 10,000 hours. Some nerds a week in Hebrew independently, not in seminary. I had 3 mentoring pastors who taught me, who had been in seminary. And actually 4. And they told me, they basically hinted to me that they'd been taught the Bible's lies in seminary. Every pastor's a liar. They know the Bible's a book of deceptions, as it certainly is. And they'll teach as if it's an authority. Now it says that God created man in foreknowledge of predestination, knowing how it would turn out, made it happen this way deliberately, and said people by the billions to hell, having made him that way, and has the world this way with all its war and deception and greed and selfishness and evil rule. And he made the world this way knowingly and in foreknowledge, knowingly and with predestination, made it happen this way. Is that a good God? And I believe he may have done it with a lot of intent that way. He is not one, though. The word for God, Elohim, is a plural word. It means one in unity, like one bunch of grapes. Eloheinu is one, but Elohim is a word used in the Bible, and that means one as in a bunch. So why is God? God is more than one. He's a cosmic consciousness of believers. They're brought into the realm of hell by believing him. This is how it works. If you study the Bible well, as I did on my own independently for 10,000 hours, I studied original Greek and Hebrew using lexicons. I got the whole idea very well. Now, I was teaching about for 8 years. I preached at urban streets. I taught Bible. I practiced the Bible. I was a man of God, no more. But basically, I found through scriptures that the God worshippers Jesus is really Satan. Also, Horus, same thing, Horus, Satan. You'll see. I'll put it all together for you in a little while. If you want to find out, if you want to see all the scriptures back up what I say, The Untold Nature of Christianity, a book I wrote, it's on Amazon for only $3. Because I'm not interested in taking your money. I'm interested in informing you and warning you of the evil out there. Now, but once you find out that that God is really Satan, is really evil, and you figure it out, that is basically reaching a 30th degree. Why? What am I saying, 30th degree? Let's just go back. Freemasonry. Let's go to the history of the Catholic Church. Now I'm going to come back to this. The history of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church started under Constantine around 312 AD, I think it was, that he basically made it the state religion. After they'd been using it and given out and had a lot of followers, they made it the state religion. And for many centuries, the Roman Catholic Church ruled over humanity. And in the 12th century, the Crusades were perpetrated by the Knights Templar, and they killed many Jews and Muslims and even Christians. They slaughtered them. That gave the Church of Black Guys, they fired these mercenaries, the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar continued mercenary work. They also went into banking and loaning and into studying occult, the Bible, and other ways. They continued for centuries. In 1776, and they had chapters all over the world in many languages and different religions, but especially Christianity, Catholicism. And basically in 1776, they changed their names to Freemasonry. They worship Lucifer. Albert Pike, the founder of the Ku Klux Klan, and he wrote a book called The Dogmas of the Freemasons, and the Morals and Dogmas of the Freemasons. And he basically made it very clear that he worshiped Lucifer, Satan. And these Freemasons, Knights Templar, Catholics, Christian, devout Christians, people with knowledge of the Bible, and basically the Freemasons worship Lucifer. These are Christian people who know the Bible well, what it really truly teaches. And guess what? Every president we've ever had has been a Freemason. And some have been skull and bones men too. They're all rich. Almost all are lawyers, all except for a few are lawyers. Now, understand, there's pain in that hell realm. Terrible, terrible, excruciating pain. But the pastors evangelize the land and sea, bring people into it. And they get very rich doing so. The love of money is root of all kinds of evil. You cannot love money and God. There's a lot of millionaire pastors out there evangelizing all around this world against what the scriptures tells them to. Yeah. Okay. Now, the Freemasonry and all our founding fathers of the United States were Freemasons, also most of them. And most were slave owners. Thomas Jefferson, a Freemason, he owned 180 slaves and said that we had the God-given rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that all men are created equal with 180 slaves. Right to the foundation, our forefathers were lying and deceiving and wicked. And by the way, let me go back also to another further point. The first man in the Rothschild, you've heard of the Rothschilds, I'm sure, the Illuminati and all that now. But the first one in the line, his name is Mayer Amschel Bauer. He owned England in the 1700s. He got rich in 35 years. He built his banking empire to be the richest. He was 10 times richer than the banker second most close to him. He owned England. He owned the King of England. And he basically hooked up with Adam Weishaupt, a Jesuit, an arm of the Catholic Church. And basically the Jesuits were formed by Ignatius Loyola for intrigue, assassinations, coups, spying, all this. And the Jesuits were evil people, just like the Knights Templar, much more so and worse. So this Adam Weishaupt, a Jesuit, got together this first Rothschild, Mayer Amschel Bauer, and they formed what they called the Illuminati. And that was in 1776 also. Now, 6 years later, they got together with the Freemasons, made a pact, and made plans. Now understand, the triune power of this world has been for centuries, over 250 years, or about 250 years now. And it's basically been the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the globalists, we call them now, and the Vatican. Those are power triune. They have all power and wealth. Now, the Roman Catholic Church, the Romans, and the Roman Empire, which embraced Catholicism with Christianity, they basically included England, Spain, and France. Rome included England, Spain, and France. Now, what did they do? After Rome dissolved, England, Spain, and France, they discovered, Columbus was sent out not to discover a new way to find spices in India. Spices, cloves, are not that important. His real mission was to convert the native people all over the world. That was his mission, as he said so in his notes. I have it in my book, The Angry, Loud, and Clear Truth. And basically, he went out there and he went out and discovered, the English, Spanish, and French discovered North America, South America, discovered people knew they were there, not the Europeans though. North America, South America, Africa, India, China, the Middle East, Australia, and what they do. In North America and South America, genocide. In Africa, slavery. In India, oppressive rule. In China, they imposed opium to destroy the people, make it easy to conquer. So understand the Roman and European way of rule. They use this using Christianity. What did they do to people after they conquered them and killed them off and enslaved them? They imposed their languages on them. And they brought in and they made them Christians. That was the most important thing. And they also separated them from their homeland territory. The American natives, the Africans, were separated from their native territories and put in reservations or in other lands to take away their culture, make them assimilate into the Roman Christian held realm, to be slaves and servants of the Romans, of the Europeans. Now, remember, the Europeans are not the only ones with a bad history, with an evil history. Egypt is where it started, Horus. Now, let us go back to evil now. And understand, Horus is the original god, or original evil god. Jehovah, which Moses, the Egyptian prince, said it to Hebrew. He made up the stories about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, totally fabricated. And then he said that he had, by inheritance, was in the tribe of whatever, But basically, he made up to give himself validity of being what he started a new religion, a new nation, the Hebrews, and went over and traveled to Israel, as we know it now. And basically, this evil God who rules, and by the way, this hell realm makes you highly intelligent. I got up to 30 degrees in masonry. That's where you find out that Jesus is really Satan, and you find out the truth. And if you agree, they worship him still, then you're under Satan's rule, and you're in hell. You'd be put in hell. As soon as I found it was Satan, that was the evil entity, I saw all this truth, I turned away real quick. Now, I've been promised $20 million, actually total of $33 million by 3 different sources to do my work as a missionary. I was like a missionary back then, as a Christian, teacher and evangelist and all that. I turned away when I found out the true nature of God back 5 years ago. But listen to this. I was even contacted by the Republican Party. They wanted me to be governor. They wanted me to run for office. Now, I was promised $33 million total. 3 different sources, one $20 million, one $8 million, one $5 million. They wanted me to be their man. I saw the Republican Party voters and said, no. The money, of course, I wanted for my mission work, it never appeared. I left the faith, it never appeared. Let me teach you something. Every world leader follows the agenda of this Horus under the name Jesus, Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, whatever the name of that evil god, that's who they really serve. Horus. Now, the proof of the pudding, here it is. Look in the back of your $1 bill. You see a pyramid. That's a seal of the United States. The United States seal is a pyramid. And above that pyramid is an eye. One nation under God. That eye is this falcon eye of Horus. Also, you ever see a symbolic eye a little differently? You see all the stars like Illuminati, shine like that, The eye of Satan. Horus is Satan. Now, we're one nation under God. Eye above the pyramid. Underneath that pyramid, it says Novus Ordo Seclorum. That is Latin, the language of the Roman Catholic Church. And it means New World Order. The seal was made in 1871. The same year that Albert Pike, who I mentioned before, wrote a letter to another Illuminati, because Albert Pike was an Illuminati, Freemason, and he basically said, describing how he created World War I, World War II, and World War III in 1871. And they have just that way how you can create communist Russia, the nation state of Israel after World War II, and the communist Russia after around World War I. This is all predicted and foreknown and happened and made to happen by the Freemasonry. And basically, in the Anglo Clear Truth, I show how our bankers, Western bankers, the capitalists, funded the Marxists, Lenin, Trotsky, and Stalin, funded them to create Russia. So understand, this is not all a communist. The evil is not a communist plot. It is not the Jews. Though Rothschild is Jewish, but they don't love they don't love any Jewish guy like the Jews worship in a synagogue. They're not like regular Jews. These are bankers of every. It isn't about race, not even about religion. I'll tell you what it's about. It's about being bought. It's about character, being willing for greedy ways and to serve evil and do whatever evil tells you to do. Being willing to do that. That's what makes you evil. Being bought or willing to do evil for your own selfish reasons. You want to survive, and you're afraid you'll die if you don't do evil. You're afraid you'll lose all your money, or you want to have some wealth and some comfort, some luxury, some power. All those are tickets to doing evil, and evil does exist. It is not just about stupidity that our leaders don't do what's right. It is not just, they can't think. It's not just that they want money because, they want riches. They are evil. They serve an evil entity. This evil entity puts people in hell and rules over them in hell. Has put billions and billions of people in hell and rules over them. Makes people do wrong. Makes them subverts people. And the media, by the way, is run, yes, Trump is right about this, run by the deep state. But Trump is a liar. Everything he has said just about has been a lie. The New York Times counted 7,500 lies in his first year and a half in office. And basically, he says that the deep state runs the news, and certainly does. He says he's against the deep state. Is that why he appointed Michael Pompeo, who's a former CIA director, to head as Secretary of State? He's not against the deep state. He is bought like the rest. He is ruled by the Vatican. He has an evangelical council headed by Jerry Falwell, who tell him what to do, and they get their instructions from the Vatican. Now, who rules over us? Our politicians? Not really. Rockefeller, who's a Bezos is not the richest man in the world, not even close. The Rothschilds own every federal bank of every nation and print up all currencies except for Iran. Iran has its own bank, not ruled by the Rothschilds yet. That's why we're out there attacking Iran right now, ready to attack Iran, the U.S. Now, the Rothschilds put up all currencies at cost of paper and ink and sell them at face value. That means that every bit of work done by everybody on the planet for centuries has profited the Rothschilds entirely. They are worth more than Bezos, don't you think? Several quadrillions, maybe. Yes, definitely. The Queen of England's family own over a fifth of real estate in the entire planet. They get in the interest alone, never mind rent, in the interest alone, they make $360 million a day. A little richer than Bezos, huh? Maybe. I think so, yeah. The Rockefellers made their dynasty. They created all the universities we know today, the education system, and the medical system we know today. They own all the top conglomerates. They all end up under the rule of Standard Oil, ruled by Rockefeller. Rockefeller rules just about every conglomerate in the United States. He's a little wealthier than Bezos, too, I would say, yes. But basically, we've been lied to by our media, which is run by the CIA, has been since the 1950s, using psychological methods to subvert the people through television and the media, intentionally, deliberately brought us down into loving appearances over substance, into loving lustful and taste, ruled by our taste and lusts, to want materialism and toys, to be convinced by liars and to be gullible to the wrong values that we have. Money over work, not wanting to work hard, not wanting to have a good, strong body and mind, not thinking, just sit back on your television and have an easy life is what people value today. The best entertainment is most important to them. Rather than being righteous, having clear conscience, and achieving things, they want to be entertained. That's what society brought into us. And that they basically, what they teach in universities is basically they have you memorizing mostly disinformation, misinformation. They lie to us, and they teach you to follow ways to make the rich people richer and to exploit the people, and to basically, the pharmaceuticals destroy our health, and the medical system is created by Rockefeller to do so. And this is an angry, loud, and clear truth. And I show how the police are basically enforcers for the evil powers and governments. They squelch unions and protests. They put people in jails, and you see what they're doing, how they're basically enforcing this scam of a pandemic. It's not baloney. But basically, the police are willing to work for the corporate heads in the government and do the grunt work, beat people over the head with their sticks, arresting them and even killing them. Police kill blacks right and left, unarmed blacks, because blacks don't fit into the white man's establishment. They refuse to be bought. They don't trust the establishment. As I've learned not to either. I had moved to Newark, an urban city here in New Jersey, to beat the brothers. After I was in prison for writing my book, Exposing the Money Machine, they put me in prison so they could research the book. They could research, see my affiliates were, research everything about me. and watch over me and see what I was like. They let me out early. They let me out after 2/3 of my term was over because they saw I was squeaky clean. And I have solutions, and we'll get to some more solutions later. Now my 30 minutes is up. I just want to show you this is where evil comes from. This is the true nature of the Bible, and this is why we have all been lied to and deceived. The Bible is full of lies. And if the foundation, what we trust most, the Bible is lies, how much more so the media and everything we've been taught in universities also. Not everything, but a lot of things we've been taught in universities also. We are taught, how are we tested? With multiple choice and true and false. You don't have to know anything. It's disinformation. They don't teach you to analyze and check up on what they're telling you. They teach you to memorize. And that makes you smarter. Being able to repeat what you're told and to follow directions, obey, makes you smarter than people who didn't go to college, huh? Baloney. Have a great day. Michael Kahn, author of Exposing the Money Machine, The Untold Nature of Christianity, and Angry, Loud, and Clear Truth. Signing out.